But listen, I wanted to talk to you about the New Jersey CCW thing that's going on. We've talked about it a little bit. Petrolino's talked about it a little bit, and I wanted to get your take and hear from you on it, because I know it's something that you've are knowledgeable about as well.
Yes. So John convinced me that I should get the FID card for New Jersey, because I'm not going to say whether or not I brought shotguns with me when I went down to go do some sporting clays in Pennsylvania and Virginia with him, but I do like to use my own blasters. So he convinced me I need to get the FID card. That was the whole Jersey thing is a whole process. So it's sit through a 26 slide PowerPoint that cost me $50. Then after that, I had to go do digital fingerprints, which, from what I understand, the governor of New Jersey is part owner of the company that does the digital fingerprints. So that cost me
interesting.
No conflict of interest there,
right? That cost me $98. So I'm $150 in. This was in February. When I would get, they do. I think I had to have two references, I think is what it was. And honestly, as soon as they got my information and my money, they messaged my my references, because like both my people were like, hey, Petrolino was one of them. He says, hey, I got the recommendation, and I went through and I, everything's fine. Then like 3 days later, I talked to the other friend. I'm like, hey, have you gotten anything from the New Jersey State Police? She's like, oh, I wanted to ask you about that. I'm like, just say everything's fine, right? Every time I would reach out to New Jersey, the first email I would get is very much, don't ask any questions. We'll let you know when we have your stuff. Like nothing. Like it was very cold, very robotic. And then like 3 days after that, I would get another email that says, oh, well, this is what you're missing this, or the fingerprints weren't going through. So the first email I got is, your fingerprint number was wrong. And I'm like, I didn't do this. This isn't my fault. So I sent them a copy of the receipt, and they corrected it. And then I sat on this for months. Like, this was in February. I think by March, everything was done. March or April. All summer long, I got nothing. And then in September, when I was out in San Diego for a gun rights policy conference, I got an email from them. I said, hey, you know what? I don't want to be a jerk. I just want to check on this, because it's been 6 or 7 months, and I don't know what the time frame is. And, if it goes on after a certain point, do I have to reapply? So they wrote back to me. They're like, oh, yeah, everything's fine. 2 days later, I got an email that said, yeah, you're all set. Here's your digital version of your FID card.
Your file was sitting on Martha's desk, and she was filing her nails. And then
Right.
you woke her up, and she said, oh, well, gee, I guess I should do work today. We all voted, and we're going to do work today. Good news.
Right. So then, now that I had this digital copy, it was a file you had to save as a screenshot of on your phone, which seems ridiculous to me. But after I did that, he says, okay, now you're going to have to spend $200 to get the PTC, the permit to carry. So, in order to do that, you have to go through what they call the C-Care qualification, and it's not really difficult. It's 10 different shots at 5 different distances from your carry gun of choice. So I used my J-frame and got all the shots. I did a class at the Gun for Hire range, which is in northern Jersey. It cost me $275 for the 2-hour class to go in. And then after I did that, I did that in late November, Joe, like a week before Thanksgiving. And then I sat on that for forever. And then when I went to SHOT Show, I got a notification that said I used the same 2 references, I believe. Everything went through. I got my Jersey permit. And it only took 11 months, and I think it cost me about $625.
Jeez.
Wow. That's crazy that the 2-hour class was almost $300, because the California going rate for our 8-hour class is like $200, $250. So, and that's a full 8 hours.
And this, the instructors made it clear. They're like, look, we're not going to teach you how to do anything. You need to know how to do all this stuff already. We're just going to go through. Here's how you're going to draw the holster out. You don't have to do it from concealment. You don't have to do it from the holster. But here's how you're going to handle the gun. Here's how you're going to do this. We're going to fire 5 shots. You're going to drop the mag out, put a new magazine in, put the holster back in, fire. Take it back out, fire 5 more shots. And they just talk you through everything, which is fine. I think the distances are like, it's the traditional stuff, like 3, 5, 7, 10, and 15 yards. And you have to. I know there's a certain score you have to get. I forgot what it was, but I think I only had 2 shots that were a little questionable. But I was shooting a J-frame. Everyone else was shooting Glock 19s and SIG 365s and semi-autos. And I'm the old school guy out there.
I was going to say, I like that you're schlepping around a J-frame. You know, he's like, look, New Jersey, I got shotguns and a J-frame, so whatever piece of card that I need to carry around with me so that I can carry this stuff with me. And Charlie, I've said it before, I say it again, you are the realest real man I've ever met in my whole life. I think that's awesome that you're keeping the J-frame alive there. I think that's very, very cool. But let me back up though. Okay, so the first thing you had, let me just kind of, these cards, these certifications you had to get. I'm not totally clear on what it was. Like that first card, the FID, like what exactly what did that enable you to do? Like, why do people get that in New Jersey?
So you have to, I think in order to possess firearms, you have to have permission from the New Jersey government. So in order for me as a non-resident to bring a non-large capacity rifle or shotgun with me, I have to have at least an FID card, or I drive the speed limit and use my blinkers and don't flip people off when I'm driving. That's the other choice.
Right.
And legit, after I got the FID card, Petrolino was like, good, now you can bring a shotgun to New Jersey. If you want to bring a handgun, you got to do this other thing and spend, almost another $500, which I'm like, holy moly.
So that FID card, you're just acknowledging, hey, I'm a gun owner. I have guns. I'm probably going to transport them. That's all that's really doing is like it sounds like it's a in-depth, sophisticated registration process, really. Is that kind of sum it up?
I'll tell you the most ridiculous thing to me. It's you sit through this PowerPoint, you acknowledge that you sat through the PowerPoint. One of the slides that they had for a revolver was a top break revolver. Yeah, a top break revolver, which is not covered in decoding firearms, by the way. So, yeah, this is what they're having. They have these, like, those old pictures that they're like pieces of art where they have the numbers on it and the design. Yeah, it's that of a top break revolver. That's what they have, and it's just the basic easy gun rule stuff. There's nothing special to it. There's nothing about self-defense. There's nothing about when you can and can't shoot somebody or protect yourself or defend yourself, or when you can use or not use a gun. It's not where you can carry one, where you cannot carry one. It's pay us $50 to sit through this PowerPoint, and then we'll let you bring a shotgun or a long gun into the state.
It's just discouragement. It's, hey, we're going to financially discourage you. We're going to make it take a lot of time to discourage you. That's all it really is. And it doesn't really, there's no community safety advancement or anything like that. It's just pure government, screw you, gun owner. That's really what it amounts to.
Yeah. Let's separate you from your money, and then maybe we'll let you carry a gun or have a gun or bring a gun.
And then the second one it sounds like you got a carry permit too, and so New Jersey allows out-of-state applicants to get a carry permit. And you wanted to be able to carry your J-frame on you for self-defense, so you went through the New Jersey's process there. Is that the second one?
Yep,
carry permit, right?
Yep, absolutely. That's what it is. It's in New Jersey. They call it the PTC, the permit to carry. And so I can now bring my J-frame lawfully as I go through New Jersey. This is what really aggravates me. I've had this since the beginning of January. I haven't gone down to visit Petrolino once yet. So I spent $625 on this. I haven't used it one time.
$600 just to hang out with Petrolino. That guy's an expensive date. I don't know if I'm going to pay that amount. I'm just going to have to go there unarmed. Visiting Petrolino unarmed is dangerous in and of itself. So I don't know.
The nice thing about it is Mrs. Petrolino likes to choose where we go out to eat. So that's always cool.
That's awesome. All right. Well, God, it's unbelievable. I mean, it really truly feels like we're at this time in history. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm going to say pre-Bruen, and that's post-Heller, post-McDonald, but pre-Bruen, it just kind of felt like such a slog. Second Amendment activism was such a slog. And now it really truly feels like things are happening. And I think that elections and the Bruen decision from the Supreme Court, both those things have moved moved the Second Amendment movement along at a tremendous pace. So I think we're sitting right in the middle of like these growing pains. I know 5 years from now, 10 years from now, things are going to be a whole lot better, but there's still all this kind of this existing harassment, ridiculousness that people are putting up with. Hopefully all this stuff goes the way of the dodo. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Charlie?
I think that would be great. Like one of the things we often talk about is if they can't, when the anti-gun folks decide or find out that they can't restrict us from having guns, they want to make it more difficult or more expensive.
Yeah.
So like legit $625 to take this so I can have a permit so I can go to Jersey. It's only good for 2 years. So when I renew this in 2 years, it's going to cost me another $200. I don't know if I have to do the qualification, but it's going to cost me another $200. And about a year ago, last year, Petrolina was telling me that the governor in New Jersey wanted to up it to $400 for 2 years. So this makes it so that it's only good for, I'm going to use air quotes when I say this, for rich people, but it's certainly going to be hard for somebody who's, believe me, people ask me, they're like, dude, you're at this event, you go here, you got your show where you travel around the country. How do you afford this? And I say, well, come over and look at my fridge. I have old eggs and moldy cheese. So that's kind of how I get it done.
You probably sell those eggs for a profit, man. Got to tell you. So that's something.
If it didn't expire in September, I might be able to do that.
We're going to start, I think what we're going to do, Dakota, we're going to start, Gun Owners Radio is going to start a GoFundMe just for Charlie's renewal, just so he can remain friends with John Petrolino.
I think maybe we could sponsor a very poor person in New Jersey instead. Maybe we could get one of those 800,000 residents that live below the poverty line.
Yeah, really. All right.
That would be great. I'd love that.
How's the rest of the weekend look for you? What else are you looking forward to? Hey, thanks for watching Gun Owners Radio. I hope you loved that clip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media. And check out our website at gunownersradio.com.